Tell me who's like me. Do y'all lose like me? Tell me who's like me.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Dark Cheshire's Madcap Fanfiction. Grab a seat, a cup of tea, while I pull a story from the shelf. Um, so I love reading so much that as a child I read the dictionary for fun. Of course, as I got older and more access to computers, fan fiction became a way for me to explore my inner geek even more and find alternatives to the way I feel a story should have ended. Of course, what happens is that when you're going swimming in those waters, you find strange fish. Infamous fan fiction stories like My Immortal, um, things like that. The weird, the bad, the oh my gosh, what am I reading? So, I'm here to explore with you even further into the land of the odd, the weird, and the absolutely hilarious. And I'm a little mad here, as you can see. So, to help keep my sanity, I will enjoy reading this random stuff. All right. So I have to admit that the anime Naruto is in my top five for when I want to read fan fiction. Um, it's one of my first animes that I really, really got into, other than things like Sailor Moon. But yeah, like Sailor Moon. Anyway, my OTP happens to be Kakashi Sakura, and don't you judge me. I only read the ones where she is an adult. You guys are weirdos for thinking any differently. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I would actually read Kakashi in any fan fiction because for a 2D character, Kakashi is so my type. He's a little older, a little rough, smart, but laid back, tall and lanky, all the things I like. That is my 2D husbando, and you can fight me for him and I will win. Am a little crazy. So anyway, while on my search for the worst of the worst fan fiction that I hadn't heard before, I came across the epic that is Naruto versus Sasuke: The Aftermath by King Kakashi. So, how can a fanfic by someone named King Kakashi be bad, right? Well, let's find out. Hatake Kakashi speeds through the forest with urgency and haste, as one of his students, Uzumaki Naruto, lies dying in his arms. He glances down at his student covered in blood, with a distinctive hole in his chest that could only have been left by the Chidori technique, Kakashi's technique. Damn you, Sasuke, and damn myself for teaching you this, he mutters in a voice filled with both anger as well as guilt. Using slight hand movements and voice activation, he increases his chakra even further to gain additional speed as he heads towards Konoha. A rasping, gurgling sound reaches his ears, and he looks down again and sees that the bleeding has slowed considerably. No doubt helped by the power of the Cubie demon contained within Naruto's body. In fact, it was probably the only reason Naruto wasn't dead. Kakashi shook his slightly head. Kakashi shook his head slightly in disbelief. The Leaf Village's greatest enemy and a source of pain and heartache for Naruto his entire life was the only thing keeping him alive. At that moment, Kakashi actually felt grateful for this demon and its powers. Okay, so far so good. I mean, in media res writing, which I love, and actiony, some small mistakes here and there in the writing, like shook his slightly head instead of he shook his head slightly, but nothing like my immortal level of WTFery. So let's read on. Gratitude from a leaf villager for me, a voice boomed into Kakashi's head. Startled at this occurrence, Kakashi pauses for a moment. Keep running, you fool, unless you want this brat to die in your worthless arms, Cubie shouts inside Kakashi's head. Shocked back into reality, Kakashi once again accelerates towards the village. However, he is concerned about what has just transpired. Cubie, sensing this, laughs, which brings a sense of dread to Kakashi. Worry not, copy ninja. I have need of you at the moment, which overrides any desire I might have to kill you, Cubie says in a more subdued tone. You have need of me? Kakashi queries, anxious to hear the nine-tailed fox's answer. At the moment, yes. Quite simply, you are this brat's only hope of survival, and along that, perhaps mine as well, even if you did have a part in this boy's current condition. Kakashi's anger quickly flares, and in his mind he shouts, "Shut up, monster! I care a great deal about this child. I would never hurt him." Liar, Kyubi growls. Wait, wait a minute. Okay, first point first, second point second. First point. Since when can QB just bust up into someone's mind other than Naruto? Second point second, and maybe I'm jumping ahead because, of course, I've read further on than the first chapter. How are we going the route that Kakashi doesn't care about Naruto? Are we forgetting that Naruto is Kakashi's sensei, Makoto's child? Are we forgetting that he used to check up on Naruto secretly? Granted, if we really want to get into it, the whole leadership was lazy in their so called care of Naruto, but that's my digressing. The point is, the characterization ramps up from here. Kakashi's anger begins to boil, and he begins to argue with Kyuubi in his mind, only to be interrupted by Kyuubi's thunderous voice. Quiet, you insignificant fool. Be mindful of whom you address, or I'll cease my chakra flow to this child that you care so much about, and you can watch him wither and die in a matter of seconds. Kakashi, realizing this was not an idle threat, instantly began to calm. It says clam, but calm down as was befitting his normal behavior, and stated, I apologize, great Kyuubi. I spoke in haste without thinking. Yes, you did, Kyuubi growled. Let's try that again. Yes, yes, you did, Kyuubi growled. I guess I can't growl. Kakashi, wishing to change the subject quickly, asked, How are you able to communicate with me, mighty one? Cease your incessant. Oh, excuse me. Cease your insincere flattery. It is insulting and infuriates my being even more towards you. I'm sorry, Cubie, a repentant Kakashi replies, and this is all in quotation marks. Cubie, sensing Kakashi's repentance, says, I will answer your question as it does pertain to the current situation of this kid in your arms. I have always been able to sense the thoughts and feelings of those who this child considers important. However, this cursed seal that the fourth Hokage placed me under, that is all I could ever do. Only when this vessel's life force is weakened, and hence the seal is weakened, am I able to exert more of my influence, shall we say. And since this child has never been closer to death as he is at this moment, this is the first time I have actually been able to speak to someone in the world of the living. And you've chosen to speak to me? Why? Kakashi asked. You're the only one here, idiot. And besides, as I said, you have a usefulness at the moment. Kakashi, feeling emboldened by this statement, makes a mistake in dealing with Cubie that he will always regret and says, You honor me, Cubie. Honor you? Honor you! Cubie screams at Kakashi, causing a violent stab of pain in his head. Kakashi stumbles in reaction to the pain, but keeps his balance and continues forward as best he can. Okay, so you've explained how Kyuubi can speak to Kakashi. Fine, but why would Kyuubi send blinding pain into someone he just said is basically his only hope of surviving? I'm not going to shoot the EMT driving me to the emergency room in the leg because he irritated me. You understand what I'm saying here? Something just does not add up. If I had no need of you right now, I would kill you as painfully as I could. I don't honor you. You are simply here. Now, you will answer a series of questions for me since you have chose to dispute my earlier suggestion that you had a hand in this boy's current condition. You will answer all of my questions truthfully, and remember I can sense in you any lie you may wish to convey. If that happens, I'll cease my chakra, and this boy shall die. The last sentence Cubie uttered was like a slap to the face for Kakashi, the pain in his head swiftly disappearing. I accept your conditions, Cubie, Kakashi replies. You have no choice, Cubie growls confidently. Kakashi braces himself. He doesn't know what to expect from this, but he knows enough to believe that it won't be pleasant. First question, Cubie asks. This boy's injury was caused by the Chidori technique, your technique, yes? Yes, Kakashi answers, but I didn't use this on... Quiet, Cubie snaps. I know this. But you taught this most deadly technique to the one who did use it on him, didn't you? Yes, I did, Kakashi solemnly answers. But you didn't teach it to this child. Why not? I don't know, Kakashi replies. That is a lie, and a penalty shall now be assessed, Cubie says, and with that he stops his chakra flow on Naruto. Like a dam bursting, blood explodes from the hole in his chest, splashing Kakashi in the face. Kakashi immediately stops and attempts to repack the wound, but it's like trying to hold back the tide. In a panic, he screams, Stop this, Cubie! I'll answer the question truthfully, I swear! So, maybe I'm wrong, but Kakashi sounds whiny. Maybe I'm reading it in the wrong tone here. I just feel like Kakashi would sound more assertive. Also, what the frackadoodle is going on? If Naruto dies, doesn't the Kyuubi get released and appear someone else to somewhere as else to run rampant? It seems more likely that Kyuubi would let Naruto die or fight to keep him alive, not playing with his life unless he's playing some long con and Naruto wouldn't die from this. I don't know. This series gives me so many questions, and my suspension of disbelief is mostly broken by now. Penalty rescinded, Cubie says, and with a thought, the torrent of blood coming from Naruto's chest becomes a trickle once again. Kakashi, upon seeing this, lifts Naruto up once again and quickens his pace back to the village. Kakashi feels a sense of relief that Naruto is still alive. I wouldn't get too comfortable, Copy Ninja, Kyuubi chuckles. A couple of more penalties, and even Tsunade won't be able to fix anything on a corpse. I'm sure you're counting on the slug slut to save this child's life, but why dwell on what ifs? Now back to my questions. Why didn't you teach the Chidori to this boy? Slug slut. Slug slut. I don't know how many times I can get away with saying that word, but slug? Really? We are for serious here? Considering this is a series that Sasuke pees on Sakura later, um, I feel like I shouldn't be surprised. I feel a little like females don't fare well at all in this series. I want to say something a lot nastier, honestly, than that, but I'm trying to be civil here and I'm not trying to attack the author. But nope, nope, not going to say anything. And you know what? Funnily enough, QB is female from what I remember, so I think my eyeballs have just crossed. Like, seriously, for looking at this chapter. Kakashi pauses for a moment before answering because his answer is very painful to admit. I didn't teach Naruto the Chidori because I didn't believe he had the talent to learn it. Yes, let's touch upon that subject right now, Cubie hissed. What subject? Kakashi asked. Your belief and support in one Naruto Uzumaki. Kakashi winces under his mask. In his mind, he has been struggling with how things could have been different ever since he found Naruto after his battle with Sasuke. He didn't think Cubie was reading his mind, but perhaps he was picking up on some of the regret Kakashi was feeling. What did you do when the third Hokage assigned you the three students you were trained as Jinin? Ginin? Jinin? I always said Jinin. Sorry. Continuing. Cubie asked. Kakashi pauses once again, only longer this time, annoying Cubie. Answer the question. Ashamed, Kakashi answered. I requested that he assign me another student instead of Naruto. Why? Demanded Cubie. Because I didn't think he was worth the time it would take to make him into a quality genin, let alone anything past that. But I was wrong. How is it you know of this? Not just me, Cubie chuckled. The kid knew it too. He took it upon himself to sneak under the floorboards in the Hokage's office when the students were being assigned. Impossible. I or Hokage Sarutobi would have sensed his presence even hidden, Kakashi shot back. Well, I guess you can blame me for that one. The kid was so excited about being trained by an actual Jonin. Jonin? Junin? Jonin? I masked his chakra from detection with my own. I don't know why I did it. Out of boredom, I guess. He was just so anxious to know because his only friend, Iruka, had talked about one Jonin in particular that the kid could learn a lot from. Want to take a guess who that Jonin was that this brat was so hopeful he would be assigned to? And it is two. Too. Sweet baby Haysoos. Kakashi could feel his heart begin to race even faster than it had been. He did not want to hear this answer. Cubie, sensing this and trying to stifle his laughter, said, That's right, Kakashi. It was you. Unable to contain his amusement any longer, Cubie burst forth laughing hysterically. Confused, Kakashi thought that Cubie must have been lying. If Naruto had truly known any of this, why would he accept Kakashi as his sensei? Cubie, sensing doubt coming from the ninja, said, If you're wondering why the brat chose to stay with you after hearing your request, he just used it as motivation. He was going to prove to you and everyone else that he did have talent and would earn your respect or die trying. Well, at least he got the dying part right, Cubie said with a sneer. Kakashi knew that Cubie was telling him the truth. If he could say anything about Naruto, he never thought about giving up, no matter what the cost or adversity placed before him. Next question, Cubie growls, snapping Kakashi out of his thoughts. You begrudgingly began to train Naruto along with the traitor and that pink-haired bitch that this kid is so fond of. By the way, be grateful she isn't here at the moment. She also is to blame for this brat's current crisis, even more than you, perhaps. If she were around, I would take great pleasure in granting her a very long and painful death. Kakashi did not like hearing a threat against another of his students. Makes another mistake with Cubie. Present tense, past tense, what? Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Is there a question, or do you enjoy threatening an innocent Kanochi? Kanochi? Kanoichi. I am still not prepared for this. Another shot of intense pain followed that statement with Cubie's voice echoing in his head. Do not test my patience, ninja fool. Sorry, sorry. Ninja Fool is a great band name. Do not test my patience, Ninja Fool. And as for the slut, innocent she isn't in this affair. For the third and he hoped last time, Kakashi found himself apologizing to Cubie in as humble a tone as he could muster. So, Cubie basically hates women, and Kakashi is a punk. Got it. This sounds like the beginning of a long Naruto is the only good character story. Um, Eon, he was already Ninja Jesus in canon, but there are ways of showing regret for actions without completely destroying a character. It's like you're making them to be a horrible waste of time. And how old is Sakura at this time? She's what, 10, 12? Was she whiny? Yes. Was she also still a child, even if she was a child soldier? Yes. Give the girl a break. And this is not about my OTP, I swear. This is about ways to adult up your story without murderifying the characterization. My Kakashi is murdified. Cubie, I think, sounds a little bit murdified. All the words that he's slinging around about women or she's slinging about women. Dear sweet baby Jesus, is this chapter almost done? Cubie, satisfied with the copy ninja's contrition, asked, when you were training these three whelps, did you share your time equally with all of them? Kakashi simply stated, no. You trained the other two more fervently than you did Naruto, especially the one who may have killed this brat, yes? Yes, was all Kakashi could meekly state. When this kid actually made it through the preliminary Chunin exam, were you proud or surprised, Copy Ninja? Kakashi remembered that day vividly, he said to Cubie, both. Cubie then growled in contempt. But that wasn't enough for you, was it? When this kid came to you for additional training for the final exams, what did you do? Kakashi didn't answer, prodding Cubie in disgust to state, I'll tell you what you did. You pawned him off onto that preening fool of a Jonin Ibisu to train him instead. Tell me, what were your reasons for that? And remember, I'll know if you lie, and you can say goodbye to this kid right now. Kakashi remembered how hurt Naruto was that day. He knew the answer to this question, and saying it would be like kunai to his heart. I chose to focus my attention and additional training on Sasuke, because I believed Naruto had no hope of defeating Neji Hyuga, no matter how much training I gave him. In my mind, Sasuke had the talent to move on in the exams, not Naruto. In the strictest terms of ninjutsu, Sasuke was like me. Yes, you shared that thought with Naruto during that traitor's match with the sand brat. Tell me, did you give any thought to how that made this kid feel when you said it? Cubie asked. No, I didn't, Kakashi woefully says. Woefully? Okay. No comment. Okay. No, you didn't, nor did you give any thought to his well-being when you sent him after your precious Sasuke during the sound and Orochimaru's attack on your village. Your only concern was that Sasuke might get hurt fighting the sand brat, yes? Kakashi couldn't answer anymore. Tears were beginning to surface in his eyes. He looked down once again at the boy he was carrying in his arms, barely clinging to life. Cubie has succeeded in bringing out what Kakashi has been trying to bury since the start of his race back to Konoha. He had failed this child time and time again, and it was now tearing him up inside. This kid, this number one hyperactive knucklehead ninja, had always remained loyal and true to his sensei. His sensei, on the other hand, had not returned those feelings, instead giving that which Naruto craved the most to a traitor, and now perhaps a murderer. What a fool I have been, the despair ringing in Kakashi's voice as he said it. Inwardly, Kyobi Inwardly, Cubie smiled upon hearing this. He had forced this jonin to face some unbearable truths about himself. Granted, he had done this for his own amusement. If I can't kill any more leaf villagers, I can still hurt them when I get the chance. However, the strain of keeping this kid alive was starting to deplete even Cubie's immense chakra. The injury was very severe, and he knew he couldn't stave off death for much longer. He had to act quickly, and he knew of only one thing he could do at that time. Kakashi, Cubie growled. You've done well to make it this far as fast as you have. You must have copied at some point Guy Maito's speed, but I'm afraid it's not enough. I'm going to grant you a small amount of my own chakra. This will increase your speed beyond what any human has traveled before. You will live through it, but it will be painful. There is a catch, however. I can only give you this chakra if you agree to accept it. What say you, Copy Ninja? Kakashi looked upon Naruto once again. He was barely breathing and his pulse was almost non-existent. Cubie wasn't lying. Naruto would soon be dead unless he got him to Tsunade immediately. Looking up, he could see the outskirts of the village, but it was still miles away. He knew there was no decision to be made. It was already decided. Yes, do it. I grant you permission, Great Cubie. As you wish, but remember I told you it would be painful. And with that, Cubie began to transfer a portion of his own chakra into Kakashi. The scream Kakashi let out would echo for miles, but if he could weather the pain, and this is weather, W-H, weather, not weather, okay. Continuing, he would reach Konoha in a matter of minutes. And oh, sweet baby Haysoos, lying in the manger, looking for a bottle of goat milk. Yeah. So, I want to be nice and say that for a first try at writing fanfic, it's a great try. Um, um, but I have serious issues with the characterization. Maybe I'm misremembering the manga and anime, but Kakashi never thought of Naruto as that worthless. And him coming to a realization that he failed Naruto, I believe, is very true. Though, in my opinion, as I said earlier, considering all the important adults knew that Naruto held the Kyuubi, they all could have done much better. It wasn't just Kakashi. Also, Kakashi, before getting Team 7, was failing everyone he got. Every new ninja, he was like, nope, and he didn't want a team. He wanted to forget about his old team and didn't want to see more children die. Of course, he also didn't want to see his sensei's son die. Naruto reminded Kakashi of Obito. It wasn't mentioned in the beginning, but in Shippuden, so maybe that is hindsight. Not in hindsight, though, however, is he trained Sasuke because Sasuke was basically a reincarnation of him. Kakashi may be a genius, but he's a work smarter, not harder genius. Basically, a lazy. I like lazy. In some things, in some things. Anyways, that was rough to get through.
Love comes around like a blue moon. Looking in the crowd, I can find you. Hold on to that feeling when it finds you. Ask me when it's leaving, I said too soon.